Okay, so this is a video of the game project that I did. I'll run over the game first, then the scripts after. So there are a couple issues with it. Oh, it's very loud, first of all. So, as you can hear, the sound effects work. There's sound in the background. I use the CSGO sound, and then each of these buttons give you to a level, and then each level is just different maps. And then if you go to the first level one, you have music and a ghost that spawn, and there's a lot to take in now. So there's colliders, obviously. There's a lot of mesh colliders in the thing. There's ghosts that spawn each wave, and then the wave number gets updated every wave. As you can see, the bullets, they shoot out. Now, before there's also player health mechanics. There's a power up here that once you touch it, it should disappear and give you extra damage. As you can see, they die a lot quicker now. Now, the one little problem I had is unchecking the lock, because now my cursor is locked in the middle. Press E, it unlocks the cursor. You can see the cursor on my screen there, and I'm stuck, and I die. So, the reason you want to press E when you know you're about to die. I checked this out in the Unity thing and it worked. It's just on WebGL, for some reason it didn't. But it goes you to game over screen and the prompt to go back to the main menu. So you went back to the main menu, you can select level 2, hit again. Yeah, that's the sound effect as well. So I tried to add sound effects to the gun shooting, but I think it's the audio file is messed up or something. It's like too long and it just doesn't load properly. But yet again, it's pretty much the same thing. Waves are harder over time, they're more ghost spawning, there's power-ups. You have to really walk through it. There you go. And you just run around. Now, I implemented... Oh my god. I implemented a lot of things to help the game feel a bit easier. Since it is clunky, it's not like a great game or anything. I made it so that you have an invincibility timer once you get damaged. So yeah, like I made it so that there's an invincibility timer once you get damaged, so you don't get bombarded with damage points over and over again by ghosts, no matter how many ghosts there is. So yeah, sound effects work, colliders work, as you can see. Can't walk over them. There's borders in the map as well. I'll show here. So if I try to walk out, I won't be able to. There's an invisible border I set. And yeah, it's a pretty simple game. There isn't too much to do other than, you know, get your wave number up. And it is actually quite hard since the ghosts can spawn a lot. And I've set spawn points for the ghosts and the power-ups. But as you can see, the bullets properly collide with the ghost, and I implemented that using the tags. So if an object is tagged ghost, it will do damage to it, bullet, and the same way I did player damage to it as well. If an object has the tag of player, it will take damage if it collides with a ghost. So, as you can see, there's particles as well if you kill a ghost, and I'm about to die now. But yeah, it goes up a lot, and as you can see, the spawn point's somewhere around here. They all just kind of start flooding in, so it does get quite hard over time, especially with the kind of clunkiness of it all. That's why I made that invincibility timer thingy, so you don't just die really easily. It takes a good while. Yeah, but that's pretty much the gist of the game. I'll show the code now. Bullet CS. So this is like how the bullet works and how it collides. It has you have your values here of speed. It's all floats pretty much except for the damage, which is an int, and that's because the power up also works with this. And then you have a rigibody because it has to collide with other things. And then once it starts, you get a rigibody called the rigibody thing that you made. Gave it a component of rigibody. You get the velocity by forward with the speed that you set. So I set 20f. Before it was quite fast and I changed it, this was actually alright. And then you destroy it after its lifetime, so 5F. And then this is a collider, so if it has ghost tag, it will get the ghost controller, which is another thing I have, and then it goes not to take damage and then destroy the game object. So that would be the actual bullet, not ghost. And then this is the new damage, so that would work with the power up. And then I will go back to the other scripts. Cursor manager. This is the thing I had a bit of an issue with. I tried locking it to individual scenes and unlocking once it's in a different one, but for some reason, maybe it's, I don't know, I don't really know why it doesn't unlock on the game over scene. As I said it here, if the scene name is game over, unlock. But I try to make it so that it locks, like your cursor is in the middle, you don't really see it, and then once you're in a game over scene or main menu scene, it unlocks. But it didn't work for some reason, and then I tried the E thing, so key code E, you press E, and it will unlock the cursor. So that worked in the unit, in the actual building here. But once I went down to the WebGL, it just didn't seem to work, and I already uploaded it. I didn't want to go through the hassle of deleting it, doing everything else when it took a lot of time to do everything. I didn't want to mess anything up. And then, yeah, so it would just set cursor lock. If it seems locked, make sure the cursor mode is locked, and then hide the cursor. So cursor visible false. And then else, so for locking and unlocking, you have an else if thing, and then if the lock state isn't none, so it will unlock it and make it visible so you can actually see it. And then scenes, get active scene name, if is in the string scene, it will lock, else it won't. And then it will do the same thing here. But I'll go to more now. Game over manager, this one here. This is probably the simplest part. It was just the main menu, and it will load the main menu once you die. So yeah. Then we have Ghost Controller. This was mentioned in the bullet class. It would give a max health of 3, current health, and then explosion effect, which is the particle effect you saw. You would start it with the max health and update this movement logic. I have a different script for that as well. And then it would take damage. So if it's at 0, it will die, and then if it's a die, it will destroy game object and make the explosion effect at its position. So you'd use the quantarian identity. More scripts, Ghost Controller, HUD Manager. This one was actually kind of hard as well. I used TMP Pro for Text Mesh Pro because I tried using it with text, just regular one. It was very blurry. So like the way I did it, as you saw, you'd have wave. So wave manager, so it'll show wave 1, 2, and it'll go over and over. There's shooting, so that'll be your ammo, and then reload. So the reload text is hidden at the start. It's the little it's kind of like a little text saying reloading with a couple dots, and then as you can see, current wave gets it. That's from a wave manager. Then shooting max ammo, so it will get the max ammo value, which was 20, I believe, and it will just have it to the right, and then the actual ammo will have to the left. So then, as you can see, if is reloading, so then it would make the text true to show the reloaded text, and then it will update it, and then else it would hide it. It was very hard to get all this working together, especially since I'm doing it solo, but I think I did a decent enough job. Loading screen. Now I tried to do this as well, but I didn't implement it. It was meant to be an image, a bunch of images that load depending on the level you choose, but I didn't implement it. It was very hard for me to do it. I tried, and yeah, I just couldn't get it to work. I think I don't even know. See, that's the thing. I don't even know if the script part of it is working, but I'll try to go through it. So you'd have your reference screens, your references to the progress bar, and then the other things, because I want to have like the panel, so that the background, the progress bar, it'll kind of go from gray to green as it's loading. And I had a little timer. Yeah, it would, if the problem that it will make a little delay, so it looks like it's loading, because it's not a heavy project, so it will look fairly quick, but I wanted to have like that loading effect, and then have a little key, any key to continue, but I couldn't. For some reason, it was the actual Unity stuff that was making me hard linking it all together, and I decided to drop it. but the main menu manager, I think I went over this. Did I? No, I didn't. But yeah, if you quit game quit, it will quit the game. And that's pretty much it. And then player controller, this is one of the bigger ones as well. You'd have your mouse sensitivity, your move speed, the reference to your player body. I use just a regular capsule camera and then the character controller. Because you have a character controller, like you add component and it was character controller. So you'd get it, and then you update your mouse and look left, up, right, down. And then it will just mouse X, so your this movement, left and right and Y, up, down. And then you'd have the rotation. You'd been taking away, I don't know how to explain it, but you'd have also clamp that would clamp the up and down location. So if you try to go up a certain amount, which is the 90, and down a certain amount, 90 again, it wouldn't let you. Because that way, if you kept holding down, you would just kind of rotate around, if that makes sense. You rotate the camera down, and the same thing you'd have in the thing, but without the clamp, since you kind of can look left and right continuously. Your character has to. And then I'd go into, what was I on? Player controller, player health. This one was also quite hard to implement, but you'd have your max health of 10, you'd have your current hand, and this is the thing I had to implement over time because you just die instantly if this wasn't around. I'd have an invincibility duration, so the seconds in which you can take damage after already taking damage, and then initially it's false, because you're not getting attacked by anything. So you initialize the health, and then once is invisible return, so it ignores damage. Once you're invisible, then you take away your health, and then it'll have a debug log saying player health is at this. And then if it's at 0, it will die, and then to die, it would go into a debug log saying player has died, and then it'll go into the game over scene. But yeah, then this is the private method of invincibility. And then if it's true, you wait for seconds invincibility duration, which you have here, which is 2F. And after that, you deactivate it after the timer. So that was also a bit hard. I had to play around with it. Player shooting. This was the hardest. Without a doubt, this was the hardest code I had to write. The shooting aspect was quite hard. But yeah, as the bullet prefab, that's just, I had downloaded the free assets from the Unity store mostly, and then spawn point, which was from, I made like an invisible box that came kind of from the muzzle of the gun. You have your bullet speed, your fire rate, and the max ammo, how long it'll take to reload, the normal damage yet again for the base damage, and then the power up damage. So you'd have yet again, you'd go into, I try to do audio sources, so you'd shoot and it'll make like a bang of a gun. But I think the audio clip was just a bit too long, and like the delay that you had from the fire rate would just cut it out entirely. But yeah, as you start the class, you'd get your ammo, and then you initialize it with normal damage, and then you get the audio source, which unfortunately doesn't work like it's there, but for some reason it's not working properly. And then in the update, you'd have, if it is reloading, you'd return the wait time, and then you'd get the fire rate down. Then if input get key down, so it's OR, you'd press OR to reload, is at 0, you'd start counting reload, so you'd start the reload timer. And then the shoot, you'd initialize the bullet, so game bullet, game object bullet, initialize with bullet prefab, spawn point position, and bullet spawn point rotation. And then bullet script, so that's the script we had before, it's get component bullet. If it's none, then set the current damage as the base. Rigid body, that's for, for collisions with the ghost, and then you get the bullet spawn point forward with the speed, and then destroy the bullet after 2 seconds. And then this is the part where you try to play the sound effect. I tried, but unfortunately it doesn't work. And then this is the reload, so is reloading. If it's true, return. You'd have to wait for a few seconds, and that's the reload time that I set here, 2F. Where was I? Shoot the reload, and then max ammo, and then if reloading is false. And then public is extra damage, so this is for the little power up. You'll double damage you'd wait a few seconds for the power-up duration. So had it in the power-up script, I believe, and then you'd revert it back once the thing's done. And I'll go more. So I was at player shooting, I believe, now power-up script. This one was not that bad. You'd have the duration of the power-up effect. You'd have on collider, so if they collide each other, and it's the player class, so if a ghost collided with it, it wouldn't destroy it, it would just be the player. And then if it's none, then activate the duration. And then once you touch it, because it's on a trigger event, it would destroy the game object. Spawner, this was attached to an empty game object, and then you'd have to reference the power prefab that I used. Yet again, I used free assets from the Unity store, the spawn point, so I had to make another empty game object somewhere, but I had to, with the power up prefab, no, with the other the power up spawner, I had to attach the power up spawner to a empty game object, and that didn't matter where it was, whereas the spawn point did, since that's where the power up would be spawning. This is the time in between, so you'd have to wait around 20 seconds ish for the power up to spawn, and then yeah, so it would just spawn at the point of the power ups, the power up spawner, and then wave manager. This was also kind of hard, not as hard as the bullet one, the player shooting one. You'd have a ghost prefab, because you need to have an enemy to spawn. You have the spawn points, only chose one initial go count, so that's how many ghosts would spawn each wave at the very first one, and then time in between each wave, so you get 5 seconds ish, and then I have to make a delay for the individual ghost spawns because they would all just clump up together, and then this just kind of made it look nice, like they were kind of popping out one by one in a line. And then you'd get the current wave number, which is obviously always 1. You get the number of rounds to spawn this wave, which is here, and then you'd make the wave active. You have to make that false because I'll shoot it now. End wave, and then hold on. At the start, you'd have to start the wave, and then in the update, you have to check if a wave is active. So this initially set a false, and game object where the ghost is like 0. So all the ghosts have to be pretty much this line of code means all the ghosts have to be dead to end the wave and start a new one. And then this is where you start a new one. If the wave is true, start of wave active is true, then increase the ghost count. So you'd get that times 2, and then you spawn ghosts with the delay. And spawn ghosts is you do a loop. You'd select a random spawn point. I only chose to do one to keep the game a bit more simple and easier. You'd have to initiate the ghost at the spawn point and then wait for the delay to finish before you spawn it. And then once all the ghosts spawn, you have to mark the wave as active, and then you end the wave with the when you end the current wave, you have to prepare for the next wave to become active. So you have to move. So this is what updates the text as well, and then start the wave after a short delay. And then I believe that was pretty much all the code I had. Let me check how long I was recording for. 18 minutes. So unfortunately, I did speak a lot about each code. There was some code that I haven't mentioned. It was it's from the actual Ghost asset I downloaded. I'll show it really quick. Actually, no, it's a very long video though. But yeah, no, that's scenes, scripts. Oh no, it's not scripts. It's in assets, in enemies, and then Ghost Character 3. You'd see here there's a script for it, and it's a bunch of animations and stuff. It pretty much works. It was just already pre-installed in the script into the asset, so I didn't really mess with that. But yeah, that's pretty much my game dev project. It's not the best, but it's the best I could do. But yeah.